I'd like to call this edition of Kiwanis Connects show to order. Not that we ever have any order really on this show, but at least we like to try at the beginning of it. That is for sure. Thank you for joining us today. It is the 30th of May, the last Friday in the beautiful month of May. May showers or April showers bring May flowers. I got plenty of flowers and I got a lot of allergies now because of all of that. Thank you for tuning in to Kiwanis Connects. I'm Aaron Phillips. I'm anchoring from Virginia Beach, and of course, the beautiful and incomparable Doc Val joins us from the West Coast. Good morning, Doc Val.
Aloha. You know, today is an actually gorgeous day here. I live in Monterey, so for many people who don't know where that is, that's 2 hours south of San Francisco, but I don't live on the coast. I live in the mountains, and so we're expecting 103-degree temperatures today. So, yeah. So right now
I'm starting to boil too, right? Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your humidity up there, though?
18 to 20%.
That's not bad, though. That's not too bad. And then, of course, sitting down here below us both, kind of like Paul Lynn in the center square of Hollywood Squares, Mr. Tim Shepard joins us. He is a Kiwanis International Trustee candidate. And he is here to join us, because he had nothing better to do, apparently, and figured to join Kiwanis Connects to talk to all of you out there today. But we want to thank everybody for joining us. As always, you can check us out right here on Facebook on the 3 pages, WVBV TV, WWDB TV, and, of course, the Kiwanis Connects show page, which, of course, we want to make sure y'all using the page to the fullest. You got to post your events on there. You got to post what's going on so we can share it. Happy birthdays, club events, whatever you got. Now, if you're not a big fan of Facebook, guess what? We make it real simple. Same 3 channels. Just go to YouTube. It's okay. We don't care how you watch it. The fact that you watch it is the important part. And even better is that you share it, because we have some great messages and important information that we'd like to share on this show. And, of course, with conventions and coming around and summer and international coming up and then districts all over the place, we've also got stuff to talk about. We have mental health awareness. Right. With Melissa today, we have Kiwanis Wow with Doc Val. And I understand that our guest, Tim, may be giving me a battle with some bad dad jokes today. I got them. We're ready to rock and roll. I got my cue cards right here. Bad dad jokes. We are set and ready to go. So thank you, Tim, for joining us today on this Friday. And we appreciate you making time to be with the Kiwanis Connects world for us today.
Well, thank you, Aaron and Doc Val. It's a pleasure to be with you today.
You know, Aaron, I don't think you know this about us, but Tim is one of those people that's the 1 degree of separation from Val. Okay. I was just talking to one of my friends who's in England. She says, you know, I think almost everybody in the world has like 4 degrees of separation from you. But Tim and I, we have met several times throughout the Kiwanis careers. Our careers have passed back and forth. And so, Tim, it's like, what have you been up to lately?
Oh, man, I have been up to so much. You know, I'm so busy because in addition to my full-time job as executive director for the Veterans Commission, you know, Kiwanis keeps me busy. Running for international trustee has definitely taken some time and much needed attention, which I'm happy to do. But I'm also the president of the National Association of State Directors for Veterans Affairs. So that's taken a fair amount of time. I work with the First Lady for Wyoming on the Wyoming Hunger Initiative. And then I'm on several community boards. And in particular, I want to do a shout out from my friends at Raising Readers in Wyoming. We just had the opportunity to do a jump into reading proclamation with Governor Gordon yesterday. So it's been a lot going on, but it's all good. And especially in the Kiwaniverse, I'm very happy with where we are.
I love that term, Kiwaniverse.
I like that. Hey, we're going to copyright that. That's not going to appear on a shirt or something.
Take that.
Tim, let me ask you a question. There's always a question I always like to start off with our guests. You obviously have a storied and decorated Kiwanis career. Talk about the first time you were invited to Kiwanis. How did that happen? And why did you decide that Kiwanis was the service home for you?
That's a great question and an easy one for me to answer because for me, it was so profound. I actually was the new president of Raising Readers in Wyoming way back in 2008. And Kiwanis called and said, "Hey, would you come make a presentation to the club?" Well, I was also a colonel in the Army at the time. So I went in my uniform. And the first bad joke I made was, "I know you can't see me." And they all laughed. And I just thought, wow, what a great group of people. They laughed at that really corny joke. And then I decided, well, I'll tell the muffin in the oven joke, which if you don't know the joke, it's all about two muffins sitting in the oven, and one turns to the other and says, "Hey, is it hot in here to you?" And the other muffin says, "Holy crap, a talking muffin." They all laughed. And
I would like to know if John Cena sends you royalties every time he says "you can't see me." That's what
But it was so it was really a great experience. And afterwards, I went up to the president of Kiwanis and I said, I really would like to be a part of your club. What does it take to be a member? And he handed me an application, and the rest was history.
Right on. Right on. Love stories like that.
Absolutely. And you have such a storied tale. The very first time I got to meet you, you were actively involved in club opening. And yeah. And so I think we met in Colorado.
Yep, we did, in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. And so it was when what we were doing wasn't popular, but we were very successful. And so can you share a little bit about how that process has evolved and how you've been involved in steering the ship on membership growth?
Sure. I had the opportunity before we opened we opened 8 clubs that week. Thank you very much, Doc Val. That was a historic for the Rocky Mountain District to open that many clubs. But prior to that, we had continued to talk about in Rocky Mountain District, hey, it's been forever since we opened a new club. And I was the lieutenant governor for this area up in Wyoming. And I just thought, let me take a crack at this. And so I got with my friend Derek Manley, who was also a lieutenant governor, and we had a town, Torrington, Wyoming, that was kind of between our two divisions. And he and I set about opening a new club there that we called the Goshen County Club. Ooh. So it was a first for the Rocky Mountain District in a long time. And then along came the idea of the Blitz. I will tell you, I was never opposed to it. I thought it was somewhat like what Derek and I had done, although on steroids. Mm-hmm. And I think I'd like to say that I jumped into it with both feet and thought, this is a way to help open clubs. Let's take advantage of that. So we did that. And then the following year, when I was the district governor, so I was the incoming governor when we did the Blitz with Haley Supas as the district governor, who was a marvelous person. I just think the world of her.
A serious shout out to Haley.
Yeah, shout out to Haley. But in my year, we were able to open 4 more clubs. And we did have a team come in. We specifically set to open those 4, and we were able to get them open. And I can tell you that the Rocky Mountain District was the only district to show membership growth during my year as governor. And I think that was attributable to a lot of team building and a lot of genuine focus on the importance of membership, which, since you opened the door, I'll back up and say, throughout my Army career, one thing that I can look at in all of my different assignments was I was able to grow my organization. So there were some basic things there that I saw that worked, and I think they continue to work today. And I would hope that if I were to become an international trustee, that I could help to bring that to Kiwanis International.
Tim, before we go to break, you mentioned a lot about Colorado. Are you a football fan at all?
I love football.
Are you familiar with the Denver Broncos at all?
I've heard of them.
You mean that team I worked for a couple of years? That little team?
Yeah. So there was a football player in the late 70s, early 80s that was a great wide receiver and kick returner by the name of Rick Upchurch. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah, I know that name. He was a fabulous player.
Well, I'm proud to say Rick Upchurch is a dear and personal friend of mine living there in Vegas, and I just want you to know that he's currently in the chat room watching the show right now.
Hi,
and so
Rick.
I wanted to give a shout out to my brother Rick. He is a great guy. His wife Donna is a tremendous person. And since you were mentioning Colorado and the Rocky Mountains, and I saw Rick pop in there, I wanted to ask. So, Rick Upchurch is currently watching Kiwanis. He pops in every once in a while on Fridays, but this morning I saw him pop in, so I wanted to give him a shout out. On that note, let's go to break a little bit early because I want to make sure we save plenty of time for Tim to talk about why he drew the short straw and decided to run for Kiwanis International Trustee at the poker game. No.
Oh, no.
No, I know. I'm being facetious when I say that. Rick is saying back in the chat room, good morning to you guys. So Rick just responded to my shout out. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. We got a lot more with Tim, a lot more talk about KI on the trustee level and what we can do to make things better as time clicks forward. Don't go anywhere, because otherwise Tim will chase you down. We'll be right back.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members, and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year.
For more information, contact Herman Platsky at KiwanisClub of29Palms.com.
Whitney Houston said it best in one of her award-winning songs, "The children are our future." But how can we ensure that this will happen? One way to ensure our future is to volunteer. Most people would love to volunteer, but they don't know where to go to get involved. Fortunately, there is an answer. The answer is Kiwanis International. Kiwanis International was founded in 1915 in Detroit, Michigan. The name Kiwanis comes from the Algonquin Native American language and translates to rebuild. In 1919, Kiwanis changed its focus from business networking to service to children. There are currently 7,200 clubs in 85 nations. However, if you reside or work in Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, or Suffolk, you have 11 Kiwanis clubs available for you to become a member and become an active volunteer in your community. This will ensure that children will be our future. For more information, contact Kimberly Temple at 757-793-6761 or by email at towncenterkiwanis@yahoo.com.
All right, welcome back to Kiwanis Connects. What's that?
I love those commercials.
Yeah, let's talk about those commercials. You want one of those commercials? Guess what? We got something for you. No, listen, those commercials, we can customize them for your Kiwanis Club. If you have an event coming up, maybe you're a business owner that just so happens to be a Kiwanian too, and you would like a really good, really good commercial for your business to promote and grow your brand. Hey, we can do that. You know why? Just email us, KiwanisConnectsInfo@gmail.com. We can offer you 30, 60, 90-second commercials. And here's the best part. $50 off the donation for the commercial goes to the Rose Float Kiwanis Club. So it's a fundraiser year-round. Every time a commercial is ordered, We're putting more seeds on that thing for years to come and helping her fundraise. So for 30 seconds, it's $250. For 60 seconds, it's $300. And if you want a 90-second commercial, just like the Kiwanis Club of Erie has in the works right now, $350, and the first $50 goes to the Roseville Kiwanis Club. It's a win-win-win scenario. Send me an email, kiwanisconnectsinfo@gmail.com. I will respond with all the details so you too can have a commercial just like you see on this show each and every week. Thank you very much. And now back to your regularly sponsored program.
Well,
Mike, take it away. Tim Shepard joins us. He is a candidate for international trustee. We're sharing a little background and how we got to this point. So with that, Val, I'm going to take it back to you. Oh, and by the way, yes, thank you, John. You buy those commercials, keeps this show on the air too, by the way. I forgot to mention that part. That's the important part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, Tim, I was looking through your bio, and so there are a number of things that I think are just, that just make me smile. And so I know that you're running for office. You're not running against others. But no. I look at both you and Amy will be on another show in the future. You two are so complimentary, and looking at our international candidates that are out there and looking at what you want to accomplish. So it's just huge. And so it's a big job, and you're a full-time worker. So what motivated you to want to be an international trustee? Because that's a whole another major thing. You know, it's my big girl words of thing. Yeah. So
it took a lot of time and consideration. I didn't do this lightly. I think, especially with my commitment to what we call NASDVA, the State Veterans Association, but that'll come up next spring. I'll be done with that. Okay. And so that was a big part of the consideration. As far as, yeah, I'm a busy guy, but I don't know if you've heard the expression, but if you want to get something done, find a busy person. And I am a busy person, and I like to get stuff done. That's not why I'm running. I'm running because I love Kiwanis. And also I'm not a fan of this notion that we can't grow. And I continue to hear from too many people, well, you know, it's just a matter of fact, we can't grow. And when we talk about serving the world, one kid, one community at a time, we can't afford not to grow. We have to grow. And I think it has to be part of our byline that, by golly, we're going to do it. We're going to grow, and we're going to commit the time and effort, because that's the biggest elements of it: time and effort, and I'll add focus. If you don't have a membership focus, then I'll agree with you. You're probably not going to grow. If you have a membership focus, I believe you can grow.
That's a great point. I think what happens from my experience in Kiwanis when it comes to growth, clubs just kind of get stuck in this. We've always done it this way. People are no longer here. We don't care why or whatnot. We don't reach back out to them. We know the stories. We know all of that. And I think we kind of get in our own way at times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you need to know. You need to know why every person leaves. You need to know before they leave that they're planning to leave. You know, none of this should be a surprise. Every member, one, is a snowflake, two, matters. And retention is a huge piece of membership growth. You've got to be able to maintain members to grow members. And you've got to have quality members to entice new members to come to your club. So who you are is a big part of being able to grow.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that I think about is, you know, I have a master's and a doctorate in this whole enrollment and membership and all that, but at the college level. And I brought all of those skills over because all the tenets are the same. It's like, if you don't stay on mission, if you don't really market yourself and really make sure that people get value and see the value where they're going and why they're not going to stay. And so I think that this is absolutely wonderful. But most people don't realize that membership is a big part of the trustee job. And so when you're looking at this whole trustee role, what are the things that an international trustee actually does?
Well, I think one of the main things that an international trustee does is communicate. And I think it's so important. What is that message? What is it that you're going to share? And I think for me, that message is about membership and never losing sight. I get it. You know, Kiwanis, it's about kids and community, and it's about the difference that we make to the kids in the community. But you know, if Jane Erickson was correct during her year, where she studied it and came up with the formula of one Kiwanian impacts 206 kids, you know, that's huge. And it works both ways. So each time one walks out the door, that's 206 less we can help. Every time we grow by one, we've helped 206 more kids. So I think it's that focus. And I think a big part of what I will bring, and I won't compare it to whatever's happening now. I'm not going to begrudge what's happening. I think people are doing their best. I just will tell you, Tim Shepard will bring a positive attitude, and he will bring an attitude towards growth. But I will definitely be a team builder and a team member, and definitely focused on membership. So
you're running. Amy is another candidate, like Val said, we'll have on the show coming soon. So obviously these positions are going to be voted upon at KI in Pittsburgh in about a month. How many open KI seats are there right now that are being voted for? 2. Okay. And they're based on different territories. Is that correct or not?
Well, this is for the 2 within North America, Europe, right? Val?
So North America, and then Europe is separate, and then Asia.
And then Asian, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so as we're going through this process, I was so surprised, because with the 2 positions, normally we have 5, 6, 7, or 8 people that are running. And so this year, I think 2 of the best people in the world are running.
Oh. And
so this is absolutely wonderful. And as I look at what you're talking about, you know, it's membership. But how do you trustees get that message out? How do you set the agenda? Because we've been talking about membership a lot for the whole time I've been a member in Kiwanis. But it's been the beat up on us mode. So if we show up at international convention, we're throwing a lot of numbers and we're told, look at the decline. This is because we're not doing. And so when you said you're coming at it from a positive standpoint, it was like, whew, okay. But how do you do that as an international trustee?
Well, I think some of that has to do with the areas that you specifically are addressing. So I'll be assigned, if I'm selected, I would be assigned 3 districts to work with. I definitely feel like I can have a very positive impact directly on those districts. And then my hope is within the KI board, when we talk about what are the policies and what do we want to do moving forward, that I can help. Again, I'm not going to throw stones at anybody else. I don't think that helps. What I'm going to say is, I know that Tim Shepard can be a very positive influencer, a bridge builder. That's what I did in the military. I was an engineer, so I'm all about building, not tearing down.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just so important, and that we talk about relationships and that we continue to work towards positive relationships across the organization, and that when we start to go down
Uh-oh.
We have a little freeze.
that road, what happened?
You froze for a second, so repeat the last 30 seconds.
I don't remember where I was.
That's it.
Okay. But I think I hit the majority of it, Val. It was in the, a positive attitude with constructive team building, relationship building, and partnerships. I think partnerships are something that we really need to look at inside and outside of Kiwanis, of how we can have others help us on this mission to ensure that we grow.
Oh, you just hit on something that I just attended a major workshop with Joan Gary. She's a major leadership guru and fundraising guru. And she talked about there's 3 obstacles that nonprofit organizations face. And one is that we don't think big enough. And so I love the fact that you're thinking big. You're thinking on a much larger scope and scale. You're not being reactive. The other one is that we really talk about marketing and messaging, making sure it's out there. And that last one you just hit on was the partnerships part. Oh my goodness, that is like the boom. Because I think that we can't depend on raising dues to fill the gaps. But I think when we partner with some of the most wealthy organizations and individuals in the world, we can reach our vision. And also will be more like they are in Taiwan, where it is an honor and a privilege to be a Kiwanian. I think that's
what you're saying. The other thing, and I apologize if I've cut you off, but you just made me think about one thing that has worked exceptionally well for me throughout my career is to access. And when I see how you advertise in this forum, I immediately say, this is a great idea. I'm going to steal it. And we're going to figure out how to do it here, because it's exactly what we need. It is part of that marketing piece. And I think we need to do it more and more. So, I don't care who it is. I see Amy as an ally. Mm-hmm. And I see her as someone that I'm going to talk to a lot about, hey, what do you think works? And let's exploit that. And let's take those who have the right attitude, and let's exploit what they're doing and help us grow.
Allies are good things.
Allies are great.
No matter where they come from, because they'll provide different points of view, whether you're whatever it is. It's always good to have those sounding boards for sure. So I guess what's interesting, I just saw Susan Wells, by the way. She just jumped in the chat room. She just joined us. Susan, good to see you. By the way, Douglas, I saw you pop in early. I'm sorry I didn't mention Douglas, and Chuggy's out there, and everybody's checking, and we appreciate it. One of the biggest things, though, that our show has offered, Tim, which is why having someone of your prestige running for these positions, a lot of people on the local level only are familiar with the local leaders, the club groups, obviously, the lieutenant governor, maybe the governor. And our show has become such a resource for members, experienced or newer members. And I'm glad Susan jumped in when she did, because she's a prime example of this. When we started this iteration of Kiwanis Connects 3 years ago, Susan was new to Kiwanis, and she got so much out of this show from a learning tool that for us to be able to present governors, as we've done from across KI, international presidents, now trustees, now candidates for trustees, the forum of what this show can do as a building block has been extraordinary. And it's been such a great opportunity to present individuals like yourself across the board to members who would have no idea what a trustee is. Just like when you go into a Key Club meeting and you say you're from Kiwanis and they look at you and go, well, what's Kiwanis? Huh? How is that possible?
How is that possible?
And to have a platform like this to broaden the scope and bring people like yourself to the everyday happenings, I think is extraordinary and a big secret of the success of this show. Plus, Val's a cool person anyway. So, like Susan just says there in the chat room, this show has become her Kiwanis classroom.
Oh, thank you, Susan.
You know, Kathy, go ahead. Go ahead, Val.
Well, I was going to say, Tim, you may not be aware of this, and we're going to toot our horn a little bit because I think it needs to be done. We have a lot of viewers that aren't Kiwanians yet, and I always say yet. So some of our shows actually will get 181,000, 100 and something thousand viewers that watch the show over the lifetime of the show. And I think that tells to the format of what we do. And so I know a number of people are coming out and talking about it. And I think it's the bad dad jokes, actually. But it's the informal part of the process. And we run like a true TV program. But Aaron, you know, as I look at having you here, I would love to do a partnership and be able to put this on the international level. That's always been the dream, that that this is something that maybe we even have a channel that is Kiwanis, is 24 hours a day channel of all different kinds of programs, all different kinds of specialties. We don't overlap. You know, I want to do a shout out to the Kiwanis Voice, the Voices program that my favorite international president, Sue Peterson, puts on a regular basis. We're not in competition. We are the added joy that is necessary to make it work. So, Aaron, I'm going to give it back to you now that you're finished drinking.
Yes. I'm sorry that I'm drinking so much on the air. I had dental work done 2 weeks ago, and there's still things going on inside with this new plate I'm working on that is a little rough. But anyway, Douglas, thank you for the reminder. Tim, we even inducted a new member to a Kiwanis Club on this show. So this really does go out there. All right, let's step aside for a break earlier than normal. So we're gaining some extra time on the back end here. Again, we still have a lot more to chat with Tim about. We have Mental Health Moment with Melissa Atwell coming. We have Kiwanis Wow Moments. We also, of course, yes, we have bad dad jokes. When we come back, Tim, do you have a bad dad joke lined up and ready to fire at us?
I don't know if it qualifies as a bad dad joke, but I definitely have bad jokes.
Okay, well, that'll work. That's okay. We won't quibble over one word. That's okay. So when we come back, you're going to start off the next segment sharing that with us so that this way I know how low the bar is for me to get over when I do my jokes later. All right? That's how it works.
Okay.
All right, everybody, don't go anywhere. You're watching Kiwanis Connects. The gang and everybody will be right back.
Have you ever wanted to dress like a Hall of Fame broadcaster but didn't know where to begin? In 2018, Aaron Phillips was inducted in the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame, and The Voice was born. Aaron has been part of many successful podcast programs, and branding those programs plays a vital role. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and order the latest embroidered products featuring the logos of many of Aaron's shows. Discounts and flat shipping rates are available on all orders, regardless of quantity, on men's, women's, and kids' apparel, and many accessories. Visit thevoice.qbstores.com and let Aaron's voice speak to you.
Kiwanis International is a global community of clubs, members and partners dedicated to improving the lives of children, one community at a time. Today, we stand with more than 550,000 members, from K-Kids to Key Club to Kiwanis, for all ages in over 80 countries around the world. Each community has different needs, and Kiwanis empowers members to pursue creative ways to serve the needs of children, such as fighting hunger, improving literacy, and offering guidance. Kiwanis clubs host nearly 150,000 service projects each year. For more information, visit www.kiwanis.org.
Woo-woo!
That guy who does all those commercials, he's a busy dude.
He is.
Congratulations on that, Aaron.
Oh,
that's awesome that you got that honor.
Well, thank you. I was inducted in 2018 into the Las Vegas Entertainers Hall of Fame. Tim, that $5 still only gets me coffee at Starbucks. You know what I'm saying, dude? Anyway, thank you. You know what? It's an honor. I do. You know what? I like yourself and Val and everybody that we know around us. We all do what we do because we love. If the accolades come, great. And I think that's the difference between people who do it for themselves and do things for others. Folks, crawl at the bottom of the screen. Kiwanis Connects info@gmail.com is the email if you're interested in learning more about getting those customized commercials for your club, your event, your business, whatever it is. You will all, if you're a business owner and a Kiwanian, you will still get the Kiwanis Club pricing. That's why we're offering it to anybody and everybody who's affiliated with our blue and yellow K. All right, with that, without further ado, Tim, let's hear your bad joke. You're not qualifying as a bad dad joke. We'll just call it a bad joke. Either way, that's okay. Hit it.
All right. Husband says to his wife, honey, embrace your mistakes. So she hugged him.
That'll work.
36 years I'm married. My wife has yet to let go of the hug. You know what I'm saying? Yes, that's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
I think
all right, very good.
Bar is set well.
That's right. That's right. Hugs are good though. That's the thing. We may be the mistake, but men love hugs. So let's just remember that.
Hugs.
All right. Let's get back to it, Val.
You know, I was just thinking through some of the comments that I'm seeing pop up, and I was thinking this is a great opportunity for us to take in some of those comments and make it a little bit more interactive. And so Kathy Tran put in a comment, and maybe John can put it across the crawler, but Kathy was saying that she wants Kiwanians to help long-term Kiwanians become mentors for new, younger Kiwanians. Cheap rented lips. We do great with our SLPs, but we forget about the new members and the younger members. And so, Tim, do you want to address that a little bit?
Yeah, I understand that. I guess some of what I think is important is to remember what's a younger member in Kiwanis. It's not necessarily a 20-something.
That's a good point.
I think younger members, in a lot of cases, are newer members, but they are. I think our sweet spot is going to be that empty nester, career-ending person or couple, and that we never want to lose sight of that's really a key market. Now, I get it. We also we never want to stop recruiting to younger and younger members because they do bring fresh ideas. They do bring a different perspective. They help us move forward. So we've got to continue to look to them, but we have to look to them in the way that they do things, not the way we do things. So their use of technology, their use of chat, their use of whatever means to communicate, that's how we've got to talk to them, and that's how we need to entice them. So I definitely see the importance of younger members. I just also would caution us to think about what does it mean to be a younger member in Kiwanis, and that it's not necessarily so. A 60-year-old who's got a young at heart attitude, I think, is bringing us what we wanted, and we're not that worried about their physical age. We're worried about their mental age.
Susan responded to Kathy's comment that she would love a mentor. So she loved the idea. And then Kathy put in the words younger. I want to encourage everybody. We have about 15-20 minutes left of the show, even though we still have a couple of certain things to do. If you got a question specific to Tim and you wake up one day and say, boy, if I only knew a Kiwanis International trustee candidate that I can ask a question about, now's your chance. Do it. Do it now. Get your question in the chat room. If you're watching us on YouTube, do it there too, because John can pull those in off of YouTube for us. And if your question is voted the best question of the day, I will personally sign one of my books, Let My Voice Speak to You, autograph copy. If you're coming to convention, I'll hand deliver it. If you're not, I'll mail it to you. There you go. A little incentive for you.
Oh.
I got 1,000 of them sitting in my closet. I got to get rid of them somehow. You know what I'm saying, folks? So come on now. All right. No, seriously, ask a question. We got Tim with us. Let's take advantage of his knowledge and his expertise and what he's going to do for us.
You know, before one of those questions pops in, Tim, I noticed in your write-up that you talked about you want to end human trafficking and sex trafficking. And it's like I said, you're singing to my heart. And so I'm like, if I could have built one of these candidates, it would be you in this process. And I'm not just kissing up because I want to be on your team. But it is because we just started a year ago. It's called STAR, Kiwanis Club of El Dorado Hills, which is Sex Trafficking Awareness and Resources.
Wow.
We partner with the FBI. We partner with, and I say we because this was one of my heart programs that I wanted to make sure it got off the ground. And when Gail Serrata and Bob, I'm not going to mess this name up, and El Dorado Hills said that this is something they really wanted to focus in on, I was like, I'm all in. Whatever you need, my reputation, my friends, my everything, I give to you. And this club has set a pace within all of California, where all of the law enforcement folks that are focusing in on human trafficking and sex trafficking, specifically child trafficking, are meeting with the leaders of this Kiwanis Club and setting up different processes, including go bags, so that young ladies and young men, when they're brought in, usually aren't wearing what they're supposed to be wearing. And so it's hard for an officer to interrogate them and figure out what's going on. But in this bag is this a brand new sweatsuit. It's it's a whole, everything that they need to be able to sit in an interrogation room or a conference room and be comfortable and respectful. But that was just one part of it. But it was also educating kids through Thorn and Three Strands. And so when you talk about being able to eliminate human trafficking and sex trafficking on the international level, are programs like this, clubs like this, the kind of thing that you can help shepherd? Because I think that almost every district could use one. You don't need multiples, just need one that then educates other clubs and other people within their district.
Yeah, I put that under the heading of exploiting a great idea, towards what to me is a very, very important vision that I have. And I think visions are supposed to be close to impossible. And so that's why I wrote it to eliminating. Can we really get there? I don't know. But should we? Absolutely. And I would love to be able to bring this from the top down and the bottom up. And what you just described, Val, to me is a great example of the bottom up. And what we need to exploit across the districts to get a foothold on this issue. And then I think working on the top, I think we need to reach out to a big partner called our friends at UNICEF, and look at what they're doing on a global and a national level. Rocky Mountain District loved the Eliminate Project, and we were the Cheyenne Club, of which I am a proud member, was $100,000 club for that Eliminate Project. And it was because we all believed. And the one thing, though, was it really didn't touch North America, but it was an important global issue. And when I look at this human trafficking, I say, this does touch us right here. This touches us worldwide, and is such a horrible, horrible menace to good society. I think for us to look the other way is a mistake, and I would ask us to step into the breach and make a difference.
Absolutely. And we have some natural partners out there in the world that a couple of the folks that run Thorn actually joined the club. A couple of folks from the Three Strands, but these are global organizations. And so Ashton Kutcher and Demi Moore, the actor and actresses. So if you've been living under a rock and you don't know who they are, they're major actresses. An actor started Thorn, and now they work with all of the international governments to do dark web rescue. And so there's a lot to it. And this show isn't about that. But I just wanted to make sure that we get that on your checklist.
Thank you.
And we would love to do presentations at the International Convention and do out-of-the-box connections with groups all over. And I think that that's why we have single focus clubs. They get to the kernel of what's needed in the community that's there. And being able to then, as you use the word exploit, it's like it then grows bigger than the original. So
right on. All right, as I'm looking at the clock, and I hate to be the man of father time, we're going to transition now to a couple other things before we wrap up with Tim and get his final thoughts. It is now time for a mental health moment from Melissa Atwell, the mental health moment.
Hi, I'm Melissa Atwell, the founder and CEO of the Mental Health Moment. And my mental health moment that I want to share with you today is a moment of kindness, or a word of kindness can go a long way. And I want to give you an example of that. If you have a moment where you see something and you want to compliment someone on what they're wearing, what they're doing, do it. Because you never know what that one moment of kindness will do for someone else. And that is a ripple effect. So remember, take a moment for your mental health.
Thank you, Melissa. Well said. You never know what a smile or a wink can do for anybody's day. With that, speaking of winking and smiling, it's time for Kiwanis Wow with Doc Val. Mm-hmm. Come on, John, roll it.
Okay, my own little superhero going up.
I couldn't hold the smile any longer before I rolled that intro. Jeez,
I know we're gonna work on our timing. My well moment has everything to do with what's going on right now across North America, and that's graduations. And so as we're seeing all of the little bitties graduating from kindergarten and getting ready to promote themselves, and be big first graders, and our middle schoolers moving forward and getting their Hope of America awards, one of the things that was just wowed me are the number of scholarships that Kiwanis clubs are giving to students. That is the one thing that helps fulfill a dream, and giving out of scholarships. And I want to do a very special shout out to the Kiwanis Club of Oakland in California. They gave out 18 full ride scholarships. And so I got to share with you, that's 18 scholarships, but it's for 4 years. And it pays enough that each of those students, if they went to a state university, would have their tuition completely paid each of those 4 years, and they have the opportunity to extend it. So we're talking over $240,000 in scholarships. That's a big deal. And so I wanted to say, even if you give out a $500 check, that will make a difference in a student's life. And I can say that I would not have been able to complete my first tuition check going to Cal if it hadn't been for the Kiwanis Club of Riverside. So, and I didn't even know what a Kiwanian was or what a Kiwanis was. But I'm forever thankful that because of them, I now have a PhD and I get to do stuff like this.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I can't think of any time recently that I've heard of scholarships being for 4 years, let alone a first year. There's always a talk of trying to continue them for students. But to successfully offer 18 4-year scholarships, that's absurdly wonderful. So congratulations to them and to the recipients, especially because obviously they were well-deserved and well-earned. So kudos to them. All right, let's circle back around to Tim a few more minutes before we wrap up with with John's least favorite segment of the show, Bad Dad Jokes. So and I know he means that with all love too. That's the sad part. So Tim, we have a couple of minutes left. Let someone who may have just joined us. Let's talk about your role and what you will or want to accomplish as Kiwanis International Trustee.
Well, I think we've hit on quite a bit of that. I just, to recap, I think it's just critically important that we grow, and I think that what I want to accomplish is I want to build relationships, I want to build partnerships, I want to grow Kiwanis. And when I say grow Kiwanis, I don't just mean membership. I mean service. I mean that, hey, that is so wonderful that Oakland Club did 18 scholarships. I would love it if next year they could do, or their next time around, they could do 19. That's growth, and that's important, and that's what we're all about. And that's why I talk about membership growth, because again, I believe that's what takes us to the next level. Doc Val talked about the human trafficking. Big picture, I would love to see us make an even bigger difference in that, with the vision of we strive to eliminate human trafficking from the face of the earth. And I think that's a big picture thing. But as a trustee, really want to talk about relationships and partnerships and building trust and moving forward together.
Sounds like a plan to me, my friend. The visions that individuals like yourself, when you take these positions, have to be authentic and realistic. And I think everything that I've heard so far today, just speaking as a Kiwanian, I will be a delegate at KI on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Chesapeake. They were kind enough to take care of. Eileen and I both delegate. But to hear somebody who's speaking just ordinarily from the heart about the simplistic goals and how easy it is to attain, this kind of breathes a breath air in my mind for those who will be leading us into the next set of administrative years in position. So it's been breathtakingly wonderful to hear those comments come from you this morning.
Absolutely. So the big question that went into the chat room was, are you going to have a hospitality suite? How do we get to meet you?
Well, I haven't thought about a hospitality suite. I'll look at that, but I do have a booth and I would ask everyone, please stop by the booth. I intend to be there myself as much as humanly possible. I know there are a few other commitments that I have, but for the most part, I expect to be at that booth, and I would love to visit with each and every Kiwanian that I can.
Are you giving away chocolate at your table?
That was my intent, but we're not allowed to do that this year.
Really? Why?
No food or drink can be brought into the conference area.
Oh, that's it. Cancel my reservation.
I'm having an attitude moment.
Oh man.
That levels the playing field and no bribery. What's up with that?
John just put in the chat room, give away tickets for chocolate.
There you go.
Like little raffles. All right. Well, then you have to have a hospitality suite for all the chocolate.
That's it.
There you go. All right. With that, we only have a couple of minutes left, which means we have to. By the way, is Andy in the chat room? I saw him in there early. Where's Andy? I only do bad dad jokes if Andy's within earshot of the show. That's all.
He's definitely within earshot. He's listening in the other room.
All right, very good. Last week he was in studio, which was kind of cool to see. All right, with that, it's time for this week's edition of Andy's favorite bad dad jokes. Does Andy have a bad dad joke that he would care to try to share with us today, by the way? I just thought I'd ask. Oh, he did reply yes. I sent you 3 in Messenger. All right. I don't get to Messenger during the show, Douglas, but I'll see if I can grab them. All right. Tim, did you have another attempt at a joke before I get started?
Well, another one. I don't know, again, that it's a bad dad joke, but it's about a dad and a son, and they're driving down the road, and they go by this area, kind of an arena-like area, and the son turns to the dad and says, "Dad, what's that for?" And the dad says, "Well, that's where men race dogs." And so they drive down the road for a while, and the son says, "I'd bet on the dog."
Very nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't go up from here. That's all I'm going to say. All right, there you have it. Okay, not today. Oh, he doesn't have a joke ready for me today. All right, here we go. Here's my first one. You ready? Hey, how do you make a fruit punch? How do you make a fruit punch? Come on now. You give it boxing lessons. All right, next.
Oh.
That'll catch. See, that's one of those afterburns. That'll be one that'll catch.
It's an afterburn.
Right. All right. Did you hear about the joke about peanut butter? Did you hear about the joke about peanut butter? I'm not telling you. You might spread it. All right. Next. Come on. See? Not Val. My goal every week is I got to get Val to crack up within the first 3 jokes. So she's in on number 2. All right. Here you go. Maybe this will keep it going. How does a penguin build its house? How does a penguin build its house? It glues it together. Think about that one.
Igloo.
Igloo, yes. All right. You can use Gorilla Glue for his igloo. All right.
Yeah, no. Nah.
Wait a minute. What was the one that you liked? Did you hear about the joke about peanut butter? All right, anyway. What should you give to a sick lemon? Think about this. What should you give to a sick lemon? Lemonade, of course. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Now, we've been talking about literacy and education all morning, so this one is... Oh, Andy. Oh, you're hurting me. Oh, Andy, I've stooped to a point where even Andy's shaking his head. That's not... Just think in August, he's going to hear these live and in person, Doc Val, when we catch up in Vegas. Hey, what grade did the fish receive after the exam? What grade did the fish receive after the exam?
A C.
Not very good. It was below sea level. Very good, Doc.
I tried.
Why? Listen, folks, just a reminder, I read them. I don't write them. Okay. Hey, why do cows have hooves? Why do cows have hooves? Because they lack toes. Lactose. Oh, I got Tim on that one. All right, got Val on that one too. I got a double on that one. Thank you, Susan. Great show. Thank you, Tim, from Susan Wells. Thank you, Susan, as always, for checking in. Hey, what do you call a pig that knows karate besides not kosher? What do you call a pig that knows karate? Come on, I had to go there.
Pork chop.
Yes, pork chop.
Pork chop.
Even Sherry Lewis would like that one. Even Sherry Lewis would like that one. Having people, who's Sherry Lewis? I'm sure people are probably asking themselves. Hey, how many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? How many tickles does it take to make an octopus laugh? Well, 10 tickles, of course.
I get it.
Man, even our English lady on tape is not even laughing this morning. Jeez Louise. What do you tell a worried guitar? What do you tell a worried guitar? Don't fret. Okay, last but not least, I'll let that one float for a second.
Gotta percolate.
John, your computer on your side must be really wet by now. All right, last but not least, why did the school kids eat their homework? Why did the school kids eat their homework? Because the teacher said it was a piece of cake. All right, with that does it for this week's edition of Bad Dad Jokes. Oh, I know. They were. I'm going to have to put this box of jokes off to the side. They really were not very good. I'm going to have to return them to a Golden Corral. That should tell you how bad they are. Because I bought the jokes. Where is it? Oh, here you go. I got the stack from Golden Corral. You can't see it because they're yellow. See, they look like beer cans. Maybe that's the problem. All right. That does it for this week, Val. Please take us home. Tim, thank you for coming on. Val, final thoughts. I'm burning these
It's
jokes.
a time of celebration at the end of, I don't know where the year has gone so far, but it's the end of May. It's a time of celebration. please acknowledge all our graduates out there and give them hugs. They have worked so hard to get where they're at. And all of you who've supported those people, you deserve a hug too. So with that, have a great next week. We'll see you next week.
Absolutely. Tim, once again, thank you very much for coming on. I will be in Baltimore on Sunday. So if you are in the area of, and I'm simply cheating where I'm, Latrobe Park on Sunday from 9 a.m. until 1, come by and say hello to me, man. I'd love to say hello, whether you're a Kiwani or not. I don't care. Just stop by and support the foundation Fighting Blind Vision. Walk with that. As I always like to say, be kind to everybody. Why? Because we are all we have. I now will call this edition of Kiwanis Connects adjourned.
All right, you're clear.